Everyone thinks the modern financial system emerged naturally. It didn't. It was engineered in a single week by exhausted men in a New Hampshire hotel. July 1944. World War II still raged. 44 nations sent delegates to a secluded resort in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Their mission: design a new global financial order before the war even ended. They knew that chaos had followed the last war, and they were determined not to repeat it. What emerged from those meetings would shape currency, trade, and geopolitics for nearly 3 decades. The problem was simple but urgent. During the 1930s, countries had abandoned the gold standard in chaos. They printed money recklessly, devalued their currencies to gain trade advantage, and built walls around their economies. This beggar-thy-neighbor approach deepened the Great Depression. By 1944, planners feared a repeat. They needed rules. They needed stability. They needed a system that would prevent one nation's desperation from dragging the world down again. 2 men dominated the negotiations: John Maynard Keynes from Britain and Harry Dexter White from the United States. Keynes envisioned a truly neutral international currency. White pushed for something simpler, a system anchored to the US dollar. The Americans held the leverage. They'd emerged from the war as the world's creditor and industrial powerhouse. White's vision prevailed, though not without friction. Here's what they created. The US dollar would be pegged to gold at $35 per ounce. Every other currency would be pegged to the dollar. This meant predictable exchange rates, essential for international trade. Nations promised not to devalue their money for competitive advantage. It was a grand bargain: stability for discipline. They also created 2 institutions to enforce this order. The International Monetary Fund would monitor compliance and lend to countries in crisis. The World Bank would finance reconstruction and development. Together, these organizations would prevent the financial chaos that had preceded the war. It was, in essence, an attempt to engineer peace through monetary rules. The system worked for a time. Trade flourished. Currencies remained stable. The post-war recovery accelerated. Bretton Woods gave the world something it hadn't had in decades: predictability. You knew what your money was worth tomorrow. Businesses could plan. Nations could invest in reconstruction without fearing sudden currency collapse. But the system contained a fundamental tension. The dollar was both a national currency and the world's reserve. As America spent abroad, on military bases, foreign aid, the Vietnam War, it printed dollars faster than it could back them with gold. By the late 1960s, the mathematics became impossible. The gold reserve couldn't cover the dollars in circulation. The system's architect had built in its own expiration date. In 1971, President Nixon ended it. The dollar was no longer convertible to gold. Bretton Woods collapsed, yet its legacy endured. The IMF and World Bank still exist, still shape global finance. The dollar remained dominant, even without the gold anchor. What began as a desperate wartime agreement became the foundation of the modern financial world. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to explore how this system shaped the century that followed. Subscribe to uncover how post-war financial systems shaped the geopolitics and economies we navigate today. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.